Welcome back, Kartrider fans. We're heading into our second series of the evening. It's going to be KWANGDONG FREECS against Planet, a matchup that may be more one-sided than our first one, as we have a definite clear favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Sensation coming into it today, I thought they might have a slight edge against Reboot. Reboot with the underdog story was able to, clean house there in the ace, but these guys, the KWANGDONG FREECS, are the team to beat right now in the KDL after dispatching Liv's Sandbox. I mean, they are undefeated so far. World, their speed ace has been playing out of his mind. And this is a team, I think the only team here in the KDL preseason where, we ask them their roles and everyone's like, no, I'm a runner, I'm a runner, I'm a runner. Yeah. We go fast. And they do. It's a team of aces.
They really are. A team that also works together so well. It's almost like they don't have roles, like you're saying. The teamwork and communication is great. But on the other side, it is going to be Planet, a team that has, I feel like, had some middling results. There's a lot of talent in this roster. They do have an item specialist in Lens. Acid Fly, also a very strong player, I think, coming out and surprising a lot of people, but did not actually qualify for the round of 16, unfortunately, for solo. So this is what he's got left here in this speed. Is the name of the game for this roster as well. I think that even though they have an item ace, they're not an item specialist team by any means. I think that they need to try to go toe-to-toe with KWANGDONG in the speed mode itself if they want to find success tonight.
Yeah, but that's a David versus Goliath story if I've ever heard one right there. I mean, this team, the FREECS, are just so good. And I love what you said about how, it kind of feels like they're playing positionless Kartrider Drift, because really they can do it all. From top to bottom, whether you're a speed ace, whether you're a runner on this team, you're not going to get past them. If one of these players falls into the middle of the pack, they're going to be sweeping. They're going to be setting up whoever's in the front to secure that win.
Len, shouldn't you repay the help you received so far? Some history between these two teams, of course. And
repay the help.
Yeah.
Of course, today also is Lens's birthday, so we'll see if Team Planet's going to be able to deliver a win for him, because, I mean, gotta tell you, man, if it was my birthday and I was beating KWANGDONG FREECS in Kartrider Drift, I would be feeling pretty good.
I would too. To be the first team to beat this team this season, I mean, if we don't see someone upset KWANGDONG in regular season, like, maybe they have a perfect tournament. I mean, I'm not saying it's
possible.
I think the big challenge is with a rematch with Liv's Sandbox, right? But we're still a ways away from that. If it does even come to pass, it's not guaranteed. So you can see some of the stats here for the side of Planet. Fairly middling. In terms of blocks, though, actually the highest in the league right now. So something that could come to pass here in item mode. But a lot of those stats in items don't always tell the story of how you win, as we talked about earlier. It's really just about that final run where you have one player shooting through to try to actually pass. As yeah, this is the birthday present you were looking for. We'll see if it comes to pass here. It is definitely going to be a tough matchup, as you say.
Absolutely, and I like that point that you make about, attacks per minute or blocks in item mode, not necessarily translating into success, because, Planet, as you said, they're not item specialists. They're going to have to try and take the fight here to the FREECS and the speed track list.
Yeah, Terracotta Twister is where we're going to be starting again.
Nice.
Then Boostwood will not actually be banned this time, as they go to Boom Hill Tunnel, Bayside Bridge Run, and Glacier Extreme Stadium. So a more standard set of tracks this time around, with Gold Rush, New York Rally, and then Construction Chaos and Rickety Rails banned away.
Always happy to see Terracotta Twister, especially as the first map, get that guaranteed one in. Yeah. It has some of my most favorite sequences of turns of any track in the game is right there on Terracotta Twister. And I kind of wish that we saw a little bit more Zigzag Timberland here in speed mode. I know a lot of the English casters aren't a big fan of this track, but at least for me, that sensation that you get trying to navigate those really tight turns there and the inner passage there on Terracotta Twister, I get that sensation on a lot of the sections of Zigzag Pass, but no, we're gonna be dealing with the cards we've been dealt, and today we will be starting out this match between the KWANGDONG FREECS on Terracotta Twister. Will Planet be able to upseat the Giants here, as the FREECS are looking to continue their sweep in the speed portion of the KDL preseason? Minshik right now for Planet in the lead, but Sungbin, Spear, and World right behind him.
Yeah, Spear in my opinion, the most versatile player we have in the entire league right now, and he's the type of player who can be the speed ace, not technically speaking, but functionally can be a fantastic sweeper as well as someone who could even hang back and create disruption in the back line. And that's why I think he's the one that we're observing right now is, you know, obviously we had a bit of a rough start here for KWANGDONG FREECS to start getting the set they want. Ideally is,
a little bit of blocking coming in right there from Planet, and that's going to shake things up there in the middle of the pack as now Mari is going to be leading the charge there along with Sungmin as Cool and Minshik trying to close the distance. Acid Fly right there too. This is a very dense field here in the mid-pack.
Yeah, Mari here still holding onto the lead as a lot of what Minshik is trying to do here is prevent the close of these players, but Acid Fly really being the only one who's close by. So right now, I mean, you're looking at a 1-2 as your win condition for Planet, and Acid Fly becomes such an easy target now as Sungbin and World could just say, nah, we'll just prevent it from coming through, and this is a guaranteed win. We're already halfway through our second lap right now, and something has to change here very quickly for Planet, or this one's all locked up. Even though Mari's in the lead, that's not enough.
Yeah, Acid Fly is going to have to close the distance, and Mari absolutely is going to have to hold down the fort there in first place. The Planet wants to walk away with a win. See a little bit of blocking there from Acid Fly onto Spear. Not trying to let him close the distance as coming into these passes. Oh, Spear, for a second there, it looked like he was trying to push Acid Fly off the ledge, but not going to happen, and Acid just trying to work his way in, but the Freaks right now solidifying their position. Sungmin, Whirl, and Spear, 2-3-4.
Yeah, the 2-3-4. Now even the 1-3-4 is too much. As Cool coming through here at the last possible second as well to try to actually push through, but they had the lead the entire time. And it's identifying your win conditions that teams like KWANGDONG and Sensation too, you know, why they're so well known for speed is because they're very good at saying, all right, Mari's in first, but winning first place is the win condition for item mode, okay? It's not the win condition for speed. And having the most points is the most important thing, and they continued to actually prevent the rest of the players from coming over. They knew the only way, if they have 3 players in the top 5 there like that, that the win comes through for Planet is if Acid Fly secures second place, and there's 2 players between him and that happening, so they just make sure he's not able to do it, and that's all they need to do, and it's just a very simple race from there. And I think the start here is so important because Planet had Mari out early, but they couldn't actually win the initial battle there to get multiple players in top 4. And it's about total points at the end of the day.
It is about total points there, and Freaks racking up a lot of them. I mean, 1-3-6, 1-3-5 are also guaranteed wins, so 1-3-4, you're going to be padding that lead a little bit there with track number 1 as we see that blocking that came in here, first lap.
Just look at Acid Fly, you just can't get in.
Yeah, and you know, for Planet, they absolutely needed Mari to hold down that first place position if they were going to have anything happen. I mean, even if Acid Fly can't get into second, at least get that first place. Try to set up for like maybe a 1-3-6 or a 1-4-6-7 or something along those lines there for Planet. But you know, the Freaks are just so good. They're not going to give them any room, and they're going to win track number 1.
Very controlled start here, and our next track as we move into it is going to be Boostwood.
Look at this bunny, man. That's like a pop-out cheerful.
Yeah, we're moving into a pop-out cheerful meta here at the KDL. I'm loving to see it. It's like flip books are coming back as we're jumping into now our second track to see if KWANGDONG FREECS can continue the momentum here or Planet can tie it up as we head to World Tour Boostwood.
And we're off here on Boostwood. We'll see if the Freaks are able to double down and deliver another track win here. As Minshik and Acid Fly right out of the gate is going to be the leading racers here for Planet.
Ooh, unfortunately, Scarlet and Acid Fly with some big collisions there, actually kind of messing up their synergy for a moment, but still, Minshik has secured a top 2 spot. He's dropped down a little bit, but he was actually up the leading pack for just a moment. Is Acid Fly taking a wider turn here to actually try to close the gap using Minshik to draft? Actually great teamwork between the 2 of them after what was a big error earlier with Scarlet.
Yeah, we'll see if Scarlet and Mari are going to be able to shore up the flank here as they're still sitting in the 7th and 8th spot, and that puts a lot of pressure here on the front racers for Planet. Acid Fly and Minshik, they can't just hang on to 3-5. They have to start contesting those top 2 spots. We see Acid Fly now trying to draft Cool, taking these tight lines as we enter lap number 2. We'll see if he's able to pass
Yeah, but they need Minshik to actually get up there as well, or Acid Fly. As you can see, he's trying to actually take this wider path here and avoid those collisions. So the gap has been closed a little bit right now, but again, it's not enough here. Minshik really needs to pull through, but look at the sweeping here once again from Spear. Oh, that was such a sick block as well. They're just blocked out there on that corner. And Spear is just fantastic at this, man. You put him anywhere, and he's just going to block people out.
Yeah, the Freaks are doing an excellent job of zoning out these middling pack players here for Planet, and I don't know if they're going to be able to make anything happen. Spear, they finally do get past Spear, so at least they have him behind them. But Cool and Sungbin right now in a commanding position here at both positions 1 and 2.
They could get a 2-3-4 here if they can get Acid Fly to pass Cool, maybe push through there. And they're doing it right now. Scarlet, he is so close by.
Yep, it's really close there, but with a 1-3-6-8, by 1 point, the Freaks are going to be able to win this, and that was one of the closer races that we've had so far between here, the Freaks and Planet. Coming into today, we were thinking that the Freaks were just going to be doing a clean sweep here in speed and, going up the first 2 tracks with wins. That is still in the cards, but Planet, they are bringing the fight here to the Freaks.
Oh, no doubt. That second race was definitely much closer than the first one, and those final moments were really critical too, as Acid Fly was so close to actually getting that 2-3-5, and I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about the final moment, right? And we did see, I think, a much better setup here for Planet this time around, where they were actually able to set a coordinated attempt there at the final moments to cross. As Kwangdong coach here is always hyped. They keep putting him on camera, and he's super hyped about it. He's always like, "Yep, thumbs up."
Yeah, for a moment there, it looked like he was surprised to be on camera. And he's like, "Ah!" And then he gets really hyped into it. Yeah, a lot of support here for these players, for the Freaks, coming into the KDL preseason. Them and Sandbox, they were the favorites here.
Now he's acting shy.
I don't even know what's going on there, but, the Freaks, say what you want about Planet making these tracks close. The Freaks are still up 2-0 in speed mode, and if there's any team that's going to be hard to reverse sweep here in speed, it's going to be the Freaks.
No doubt. They might just get the 3-0 here unless we see something turn around here for Planet as we move into Village, Boom Hill Tunnel. Off we go. Match point here in speed for Kwangdong Freaks is a great start here for Planet. But quickly, World and Cool will actually take that top 2.
Yeah, World did a fantastic job of drifting to build up as much nitrous as possible there right on the gates. And you can see that paying dividends here with him and Cool both creating some distance between the rest of these Planet players. And now it's Sungbin instead of Spear doing a nice job blocking out these Planet players. Acid Fly will eventually close the distance. But look, the top 2 here for KDF, they're already out of drafting range.
Yeah, this is really unfortunate. This Acid Fly is now dealing with Sungbin, and like you mentioned, it's usually Spear in this position, but Sungbin is actually going to be able to do the same job, and that's the versatility we've talked about so much with this roster. And if he closes the gap here and forces a collision for Acid Fly, it's going to be an even larger lead. Acid Fly, though, taking the risky inner, and that's the punish that Sungbin was looking for this entire time. However,
yeah, Sungbin went for a really greedy block there. Was trying to take all momentum from Acid Fly, but just missed him by a hair. And he didn't get the block in fully. Actually, Spear! And the full spin! What an insane block combination! That might just be the track!
Oh man, Spear is insane!
He just came out of nowhere, like a homing missile! And that's gonna be delivering the 1-2-3 finish here for Freaks as Spear, like Superman, just emerging out of nowhere to deliver the win.
He just killed Acid Fly. He was like, "You're done.
That was insane.
Out. You've retired. I have taken you out of the race." What an insane play from Spear. A set play as well. He planned it for that exact turn because he knows he has just enough space to do the full spin. Such a sick play from him.
That was wild.
This guy is so talented.
You ever see these professional pool or billiards players where they're able to line up the shot with a cue ball and hit 4 balls in succession to secure the win? It felt like that was Spear. It's like he ricocheted off of 3 different walls and just consistently kept smacking down the players there for Planet, and he also retained enough momentum to secure the 1-2-3 finish there for the Freaks. And probably the most jaw-dropping play I have seen so far here in the KDL. I mean, that was just Wow, like I am beaming right now. I'm glad I'm not on camera because I'm grinning like a fool.
That was insane. And the thing is, Sungbin, when he went for his previous attempt for the greedy block, they had such a lead that if he succeeded, that was also probably just it. Like, it was done. He failed, but Spear's there to back him up. And even if Spear actually doesn't have the sick play, which we're going to take a look at here, by the way, blocks Acid perfectly, goes to the full spin so he can block Mari. He blocks 2 players at once, forces Mari to collide. The rest of the team has to avoid Mari, so then they also have a collision there. He just killed all of Planet's chances in one single play. Absolutely insane. As you can see what happens here from a different perspective, that was just like one of the coolest things I have ever seen in a racing game.
Undoubtedly. At least for me, like, nothing tops that. That was just so sick. Because everything has to go perfectly. He has to navigate not only those drifts, but also the ricochets off the walls. He has to have a perfect read on not only where his cart is going to go, but where the opposing carts behind him are going to end up. And just everything went perfectly to plan there for Spear. Phenomenal mechanics, phenomenal game sense to make that play happen, and delivers, you know, the set-winning track there for the Freaks in the most spectacular fashion.
You see a lot of pressure on Lens here. It is his birthday today, but he is subbed in as the item ace now for Planet, and this is where they're going to have to turn this around. And you know, it's your birthday, sure, but that doesn't make it any less stressful when you're currently 1 and 2. You drop to 1 and 3. You lose this. Three of these tracks go to Kwangdong. The series is over, right? So a lot of pressure on one particular player who's going to both be the item ace in terms of what he's doing strategy-wise, but also is going to be heavily in the shot calling.
Item track list now coming out for both of these teams. Planet picking track number 1 will be Factory Cogwheel Crush, followed by Gangnam Streets, Glacier Polar Halfpipe, Mind Motherload, and Istanbul Sunset Plaza. We'll close things out if we go to a track 5.
Yeah, it's really common to see Magma Cavern and Mushroom Caves. Actually, we'll see neither of those tracks, so this time around they're both banned. Istanbul is the last one, as we get both Halfpipe and Cogwheel. So this one's going to be chaotic, I imagine, State, and the pressure is on for sure here for Planet.
Cogwheel Crush, everybody's favorite map. Undoubtedly. A lot of precarious positions you can find yourself in here on Cogwheel, especially if you try to take any kind of greedy lines. It's like our map is loading up. The players are getting ready. We'll be able to bring it back here in item mode on Cogwheel Crush. Two-lapper here on Cogwheel Crush is Planet needing to win 3 tracks here in item mode to secure and force an ace match here against the Kwangdong Freaks, looking to have, you know, another win here to just add another star to their lapel.
Yeah, really important that Spear's the one who gets hit by that missile there that was well targeted, because he actually got double magnet, which is great RNG for him early on at the beginning. Totally chaos here. And then if he didn't get hit by that rocket, he could have held the magnet and actually still threatened top 4. As it turns out, he's already got his magnet booster set. He's still maintaining top 3 here. As Minchik only with an Angel here. His first place is definitely not guaranteed right now, under a lot of pressure, and he will drop back. As a banana is not what he's looking for either.
Banana and Angel, the wombo combo. Exactly what he was hoping for.
Actually, he couldn't really do anything with the banana and the barricade there. There's sometimes synergy with that, but his teammate was behind him, so no play available.
Sungman actually able to take the speed boost right there. Some nice timing as he comes in, and a couple of attacks coming in as well. We'll give Sungbin the lead here as he just holds on to that one nitrous, but we said it time and time again, I almost feel like I'm sounding like a broken record, is really heading into track number 2. It is all about setting up for that wombo combo there at the end. That clutch finish, as we've seen time and time again.
Cool, definitely the one who has the best item setup right now, and he's in such good position here. I say that, though, that's actually a really nicely targeted missile. Sungbin looking like he was trying to block that targeting there, but it still connects with him. So now he's going to have to use this the last possible second, but he's not in range.
Yeah, Wisp is going to catch that player there right now. Is Cool just continuing to retain both the magnet and the nitrous, sitting in, you know, 4th place, but there's not a lot of distance, as you see right here, between him and 1st.
Yeah, so just no one else really having the same setup that Cool has. Lens is really the guy. He's the item ace. He's going to have to use it very carefully here. We've got our eyes on him right now. The magnet combo set and ready to go with Minchik in the lead, also holding a shield.
Yeah, but I'm liking this position right now for the Freaks with 500 meters left to go. We'll see if Planet's going to be able to make something happen right now. as the magnets are getting popped, but Lens actually out of the gates just with a massive boost. You called it, Wolf.
He was the one set up for it because he knows that in the final section of Cogwheel Crush, if you actually use both the Nitro and the Magnet, you get a huge burst of momentum. You can actually basically go through the top part of the map and fly over the entire team. Magnet is such a tricky item because both the way you have to use it to actually pull yourself and get the right momentum, you have to use it at the right straightaway or right before a turn, and it's based on what your opponent does because the Magnet is not actually just a free win. Your opponent actually has counterplay where they can move around, try to drag you into walls and stuff like that. But he had it set up really well. And this is what being an item ace means, is to be able to know exactly how on this particular track you're going to pull this out on what was, I believe, a map pick for Planet. Yeah, they chose this one, so he knew exactly what he wanted to do. And the strategies are just evolving here in item mode.
It just continuously gets more complicated. My 2 or 3 brain cells are having a hard time keeping up, Wolf. As you've had a good read today on all these masterminds. I feel like maybe the past 2 or 3 tracks you've been calling pretty much exactly how it's going to shake out here right at the end. As you said, see Lens right there with the Wombo combo, both the Nitrous and the Magnet able to activate that shortcut, get to that finish line.
Neither team also really using, neither team had a player set to actually try to farm storms or UFOs because that's one of the other ways you could stop. It's almost like, if you're familiar with like some card games, it's almost like an OTK move where you're like, if I have this and I drive well, like no one can stop me unless you have the right item or anything. And if you're holding some of the best items when you're near that player, then you also don't have the combo to then cross first. So sometimes it's better to have one player sit back and actually look for a storm cloud, for example, like we saw in our previous series, but neither team doing that this time around.
All right, we'll see if the Freaks are going to be able to bounce back and tie this thing up 1-1 as we're going to World Tour Gangnam Streets.
Off we go. It's time to see if Planet can carry this momentum forward. Lynn's already with a fantastic performance on our first map.
Yeah, Len's playing well. Of course, the item ace there for Planet swapping in here, and goes to show the benefit of having a deep roster with that 5th man who's going to specialize here in item mode. It worked for Reboot here in, the first match of the day. It's working for Planet so far here against the Freaks, but, the Freaks, if any team can make a 4-man roster work in both speed mode and item mode, it's these guys.
Cool with a shield here to stop the homing water balloon. We'll have a second one set here.
Some fancy drifting coming in there from Scarlet.
He avoids the UFO that way, so I think that's what he wanted to do is actually get out of first. So his teammates got UFO, and he's like, all right, pull back. And I guess that's why he braked there, and maybe he just hit the wall. It's hard to say.
Yeah,
I'm like trying to strategize. I'm like, that one I don't know.
It's tough to call here because if you see somebody hit a wall or have some sudden loss of momentum in speed mode, oftentimes you think, okay, well they messed up, or okay, they're trying to sweep the players on the backside of the other team. It's either one of those two things, right? But here in item mode, it feels like we're watching these players play like 4D or even 5D chess.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes when you see somebody slow down an item, you're like, wait, no, there's a reason for sure.
Yeah. Surely it can't be as simple as them making a mistake. Something else is deeper here.
So let's take a look at some of the stock of the items here because Sungbin is holding the, we got to come up with a term for this magnet and nitro combo.
It's the Wombo combo, man.
The
I'm
nitro,
telling you.
let's just call it nitro magnet maybe. I don't know.
That doesn't roll off the tongue.
I know. We'll figure something out, but we got to come up with a term for this because it is the meta, and he is holding it right now. World is also holding this, so this is a really huge opportunity now for him to close this one out. He's in such good position.
You say that, but we have 3 or 4 players who are trying to work into having that Magnet Nitrous combo coming into lap number 3 here.
Storm here from Inshake actually at the last stretch of this could be huge. Going to force out an Angel.
Angel Shield does get popped. Planet right now holding on to 2 Angel Shields, I believe, as we're entering the home stretch here on track number 3. World will get caught there by the UFO. 400 meters left to go.
Spear.
Magnet's getting popped right now. We'll see who's able to lead. The charge right now is it's actually going to be cool with some aggressive attacks coming in there by the Freaks. They're going to set him up there for the finish by just a hair, and the Freaks are going to tie this up 1-1 here in item mode.
Very close, though, and I'd love to see a replay of that final moment because it looked like what Spear actually did because he realized with the setup he had, he wasn't actually going to be able to go first. He actually just diagonally went to the left to actually cut off anybody he could. And then as that was happening, Cool just boosted to the right side where he wasn't going to have any collisions with anybody. As we had Angels flying, some defensive items there, but ultimately this was just kind of a, let's see if we could force them back.
Yeah. 1/10 of a second separating Cool from victory and defeat there as, you know, that track felt a little bit different from the previous ones where, it, you know, oftentimes we see these teams, it feels like they're setting up for some really big combination play with Angels, with UFOs, with Thunderbolts, and then maybe 1 or 2 guys up there in the front with Magnets and Nitrous, but you know, it almost felt like the entire field was kind of gunning for it right there at the end, and it was hard to figure out exactly how things were shaking out, but the FREECS getting the better trade there at the end of the day, tying things up 1-1. 2 map wins away from winning this series as we move on to Glacier Polar Halfpipe. And we're off here on Halfpipe. FREECS needing 2 tracks to win this series. Planet needing 2 tracks to force an ace match.
Really, really tense here. Hey, you mentioned the last race, it felt like there was a lot less of a set play there at the end. I think a lot of it was bound to the lack of combos for most of the players, and also KWANGDONG Streets is a track where there's not a lot of complex things you can do with your items like we saw on Cogwheel Crush, where you like literally fly over the finish line. So I think that's part of it, but right now, pretty good control here for Cool and Spear. All those rare moments where having a banana actually can be quite useful here defensively, especially in narrow choke points like this.
Yep, Len's gonna avoid that banana. You know, those water wisps make it a lot easier when you're moving at 1 mile an hour. Very easy to actually avoid getting hit by that one, but Cool right now, he's in a pretty fantastic position, leading the charge by quite a bit.
This is the water bomb central to this map because it's basically impossible to avoid. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's going to cost you a lot of speed. It's cool since he had double shield. He made a huge gap between himself and the rest of the roster, but able to avoid a lot of those items. But now Scarlet has actually passed him here, and he's the only one up in the front here for KWANGDONG FREECS Planet. Just trying to get a player here with Magnet Nitro.
Yep, looks like some barricades might have struck Scarlet there, as the field right now is very dense here at the front of the pack. Another water wisp coming out. Will get avoided there for just a moment.
Scarlet holding onto the Nitro here and a shield. I mean, this is a very, very close race right now, as it's very difficult to use the Magnet on that final turn.
Ooh, water balloon coming out. Does get avoided there by Scarlet, so Scarlet going to maintain that lead right now with a Nitrous and a shield.
Yeah, Scarlet with some really great dodges actually gets to keep the shield. And that's exactly what you want, is Minshik is actually now pulling ahead here with that Magnet Nitro combo. So
one of these players actually looks like the item ace Lens in World coming up here on the shortcut here in the final lap. Going to be trying to contest this. Lens does have a Nitrous World with no items to his name. Now just picks up a shield. That is not what you want with 300 meters left to go.
Minshik here has the opportunity, though, to try to pull ahead. Magnets boosting. Acid actually going to take the lead here. Acid at the final moment is going to take it.
One of our slower finishes there is it felt like almost nobody close to the finish line really had the items they needed.
Yeah, my take on this is that, so it's half pipe, right? So it's very narrow, so it's more difficult to actually just boost and nitro magnet and nitro your way to the finish line because you're just going to collide into the other racers. But Acid Fly was just up in the front without any items, so I'm like, okay, someone's going to pass him for sure, right? Because we didn't actually have the wider shot there.
Right.
But no, actually he just crosses the finish line, and that's match point here for item mode now for Planet.
Yeah, Planet only 1 track win away from forcing an ace match there against the FREECS, which is their best bet. And Planet making a good show of it. You know, FREECS, they're absolutely speed mode specialists, but this is a stacked roster, perhaps the most stacked roster we have here in the KDL preseason. So, you know, for Planet going up 2-1 here in item mode, you got to feel a little bit of momentum shifting in their favor.
Oh, definitely. And all it takes is 1 ace match to actually upset the FREECS here if they're able to force it. And so taking it into the next map, which is KWANGDONG FREECS' map choice, Mine Motherload, it's going to be very critical to watch this again. Magnet actually targets Lens, so Acid Fly actually still is just able to pull to this right side there and pass because they had so much control of top 3. No one can block, so when you're magneting, you're rocketing forward, but you're also pulling somebody back at the same time, but they only had 1, so getting the replay there, you could see it was just like, well, it can't pull both of them back.
Yep, Planet able to convert that into a win right there. as we are one track away from forcing an ace match. Will we have a second one today? Continue breaking the caster curse as we go to Mind Motherland.
Round 4 of item mode is underway here. Planet on match point in items to force that potential ace match, as Mind Motherload has a very small and narrow choke point at the start of the race. You can see who is getting ahead here is Lens and Acid Fly. They're the two that actually break out from the start very well.
Yeah, things can get messy here in a hurry on Mind Motherload right now as Sungbin with a banana and a UFO EMP. Leading the charge right there, as we might see that quickly turn hands here with Scarlet now picking up the Nitrous. And actually, no, gets caught by a Water Wisp, so the Freaks solidifying their position here in lap number 1.
It's very rare to see a team actually hold on to EMP and try to get a huge lead. Like, this is a pretty massive lead in terms of item mode here. And Sungbin is so far away that the only thing that can really threaten him is something like a Lightning or the UFO itself. So he held the EMP for a while. Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, that actually does hurt a lot, especially considering the lead that Sungbin has right now, and a shield as well.
The Freaks are playing this like speed mode. They're like, hey, let's build the lead. We have got 2 shields for Sungbin. Spear's gonna sweep. They're like, we're not playing item mode, we're playing speed.
That is really what it feels like, but Planet able to close the distance right there with some nice attacks, and it's gonna be Scarlet, Acify, and World leading the pack right now as we're in lap number 2, and man, item mode, these things shake up so quickly here as we see Spear now, holding on to that Angel Shield, does have a Magnet as well.
Yeah, UFO gonna get tossed out here as well. Spear back in first here. They have an Angel here, but they do not have the Magnet setup they're looking for. Cool holding on to 2, but it's gonna be very difficult to utilize those, as here comes a Storm. Gonna be Angeled.
Yep, final lap here. The Freaks once again in a lead. Sungbin trying to do a little bit of sweeping actually here in item mode and slowing down Les as the Rocket will take him out. See Sungbin and Cool here on the flank, just trying to come in with any attacks possible. Do not let Planet build up those items that they need, as Spear and Cool, they're just continuing to lead the charge right now, but this Magnet's going to close the distance very quickly, and he even has another one in the bag.
Yeah, they do. Spear below here now, ground, only with the Nitro. So much control to Planet right now. They've almost got this in the bag, but here comes World, but he's got no items. Okay, I take it back. He does have Magnet.
He only had that one Magnet, though. What else is he going to be able to pick up with 200 meters left to go? World has no items to his name, and Planet, it looks like they will be able to force yet another ace match. 3-1 win there for Planet, as things just did not go the Freaks' way when the item draws.
Yeah, they certainly did not. Really nice attempt there from World with this Magnet coming through, but he's instantly UFO'd, and the item inventories of Planet were just stronger there, and they had more in the tank. Very, very close race, and that was honestly one of the most chaotic item modes I've ever seen on Motherload, but ultimately, now we're going to the ace match, so we have to have a conversation about who's going to come out, as we did see World chosen for KWANGDONG FREECS. He's their speed ace now last time around, and he was able to beat Neil. Now, a lot of people will remember that match as Neil making one critical mistake, but World was able to win regardless. I think you can put a lot of trust in him. Acid Fly, on the other hand, for Planet, was chosen last time and failed against Jong. So I still think you go with Acid Fly here, though, to be honest. I think he's the strongest player. Mari's had a good day today, and he's the other speed player you're really looking at here, but I'm leaning towards Acid Fly.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's got to be Mari or Acid Fly for Planet. Acid Fly, the speed ace, obviously the favorite here to be picked, as Planet does want to deliver a win for Lens, their item ace's birthday. But, hard thing about doing this against the Freaks is that the Freaks can really just choose anybody on their roster and have a fair chance of winning. I mean, this is a team with 4 aces, more or less. You got World, Cool, Spear, and Sungbin. We're continuing to await the selection here for the KWANGDONG Freaks.
It will be Rickety Rails again, so the same track that we had in our previous series. So that's the one we're heading to here. A track that really does test, I think, a lot of short drift, more than longer drifts, and you have to really be aggressive with your attacks on this to find successes. We're going to watch the replay of these final moments. Good Angel usage here from Cool. But you will see the UFO coming out onto World at the last possible second is really what turns the tide here after he uses his Magnet.
Yeah, it certainly did feel that way. And I got to say, I kind of love the approach here from the Freaks. It didn't work for them, but it was kind of thrilling to see a team try to play item mode like it was speed mode for the first 2 or 3 laps. You know, they didn't really have the team synergy there at the end to finally, you know, deliver that combo that's going to propel them across the finish line, but it was still really fun to see.
Yeah, it was really cool because they basically just said, we're the better driving team, and so we're going to be able to force this through, and they stacked double shield as well, so it looks like, okay, Sungbin, he's unbreakable, but eventually you're going to run out of defensive options with homing missiles and clouds and stuff going out. All right, let's find out who's going to be our aces here, though, because this is what it's all coming down to. We could see it all comes down to basically a best of one ace match. If World can't deliver, if he's the ace, then maybe KWANGDONG FREECS take their first loss of the season in another upset here if Planet can do this.
Could be a day of upsets. Anything can happen in an ace match, as we saw earlier today, and we've seen throughout the tournament. So we're waiting to hear who the players will be from each of these teams. Of course, I'm right there with you, thinking Acid Fly, probably the favorite there from Planet, and, you know, same thing with the FREECS. I'm expecting it's going to be World, and actually, no, Sungbin coming out here for the FREECS against the speed ace Acid Fly.
Sungbin has been, I think, a player that has really improved quite a bit. I mean, he's always been very good, but I think within this season, he has really become such a critical part in the teamwork of team speed. And he's actually been one of the more successful runners, and his performances so far, I think, warrant giving him an opportunity here, even though we saw World last time. Acid Fly is going to have to do what he could not do against Chorong here going into this one. I'm nervous, man. I think we might actually see that upset come through.
Would be thrilling to see it. So looks like our players are getting ready. A 1v1 to decide it all here between the FREECS and Planet. Who will emerge victorious as we move on to Mine Rickety Rails?
Ace match time. One of these two players is going to bring their team to victory. Will it be KWANGDONG FREECS taking their 4th win of the season, or is Planet going to upset and give them their first loss? We're about to find out.
Yep, loving this race right out of the gates here for Sungbin, taking a bit of a wider turn there, building up some more drift. So continues to draft right there behind Acid Fly, and a little bit reminiscent of our first ace match today with how hotly contested it is. Both these players in drafting range.
Yeah. Acid is keeping a very, very close watch on Sungbin's approach angle here. Knows he's sweeping. Even in a 1v1, you can actually do that and prevent these passes. Look at that collision there. He set it up to actually maintain that distance. He's still in draft range, so Sungbin finds an angle.
Yeah, Sungbin finding the inner angle there on that line is going to be able to take the lead right here, and now the roles are reversed. Sungbin here is going to be trying to play defensively and not let the drafting Acid Fly close the distance.
Okay, a draft going to come through here from Acid. Sungbin, can he defend? Yes, he can. Oh, great play, man. But good recovery there, too, after the collision. This is so close.
Yeah, that collision losing a little bit of momentum there for Sungbin as we just continue to trade places here. Neck and neck as Sungbin with yet another nice block there. And his rearview mirror going to try his best to continue to cut off Acid Fly from any passing, but Acid Fly taking this inner line right here. Going to be able to get a lead just for a moment.
Yeah, really greedy boost there from Acid on the inner, actually finding himself a little bit behind in terms of Nitro now, but he does maintain the lead. If he can play defensively in the last part of this lap, they can get the upset win.
Oh, and he's playing defensively well right now. Acid Fly with some nice body blocks coming in again. Sungbin desperately trying to take the outer line, and he's able to get it right now. Nitro's coming in, 200 meters away from the finish line. Sungbin in commanding position, and the FREECS are going to continue their winning streak. Another undefeated win here as they win the ace match. Sungbin coming through in the clutch.
Such a close race, but ultimately that tiny bit of extra nitro there was enough to keep him in first. He gets that final pass and then blocks him out in what is that last turn, that one opportunity. You have to take the outer line with a nitro and pass. Very difficult to defend there, but he pulled it off. But no shade against Acid Fly. He played extremely well, too, in this final ace match. And two very close ones, because his ace match against Chorong that he also lost against Rocks when they faced off against each other was also very, very neck and neck. But KWANGDONG FREECS do maintain supreme control, and if you're a Live Sandbox fan, you're also frustrated with how close this was because after the upset win there, this is as close as it's been for KWANGDONG FREECS to lose a series, and the fact that they are able to solidify this win means that the gap is still there, and to get first place in the regular season is going to be so much tougher now for Live Sandbox.
Yeah, but I mean, Planet, if you're a Planet fan, you got to be happy with this performance no matter what, forcing an ace match here against the FREECS, and then Acid Fly coming through in the clutch. almost a redemption story from the previous ace match, but just going neck and neck right there down to the finish line against Sungbin. FREECS just barely eking it out as, you know, they showed that they can bleed here in this series. They're still undefeated. But, you know, if a team like Planet can come this close to winning, the FREECS are going to be hard-pressed to continue this perfect record.
I think a lot of this for Planet was Lin's performance, right? He came in, he looked very stressed out, he looked very much under pressure, but he performed very well, especially that first track. When we jumped into item mode, he did extremely well there. The shot calling was good, and I think, you know, as awkward as it is to have a birthday dinner on a lost day, I think at least he's definitely going to be the one who is getting a lot of praise during said birthday dinner after tonight's matches. So this puts, as you said, Guangdong Freaks in a 4-0 solid first right now. Live Sandbox, they can definitely pass Aura in their next matchup. That's very highly contested who's second place right now, but Guangdong Freaks is just that one extra win ahead.
Yep, Planet on the cusp of breaking into top 4 right now. They're going to be needing to win their next couple of matches to solidify that, but the FREECS feels like at this point, basically a lock for the postseason, trying to continue to keep the perfect team league dream alive as they only have 3 more matches left to go here in the round robin first stage. If they can go 7-0 heading into the postseason, man, it would be a great storyline to follow.
Yeah, the Sandbox still yet to play their 4th match, and that's why you see that discrepancy there between them and Aura. So, going to be really interesting to see how that shakes out as we move into those matches tomorrow. But very exciting, close 2 series we had today. But for me, like as hype as those were, the real show is yet to come because we have a stacked group of solo matches coming up after this.
Yeah, the round of 16 is about to kick off right now. You know, we had some pretty heavily skilled groups in Group A and Group B in the round of 32. And, you know, we've kind of thinned the herd a little bit. The best of the best, the cream of the crop now here heading into the round of 16. And it should be thrilling. You know, we have a lot of very good players racing here today. Some that were even racing earlier today in the team matches.
Yeah, Luning, one of those standout players for me. Insu is going to be playing today, so that's a really exciting thing to watch. A lot of people really love Insu's play. He's very popular here.
World and Cool as well, also making the roster. I think those are probably the 4 favorites to emerge. And of course, today being the round of 16, this is not, you know, a do or die match for these players. It's not if you win, you advance, and if you lose, you go home. Because now that we're in the top 16 here in the solo portion of the KDL preseason,
it's double elimination.
Double elimination. Yeah. So if you win, you're going to be getting a better seeding. You're going into the winner's bracket. If you lose, you know, you're not out just yet. You have 1 more life going into that loser's bracket. So the pressure not going to be quite as high as it was there in the round of 32, but the competition's certainly going to be more fierce.
And that's the cool thing about this group in particular is because this group is so stacked, we will have to send some players to the loser's bracket who you don't want to send if you're a fan of these players, but because the rest of the players who go to that loser's bracket will also have been defeated players from the other group, you feel pretty good about your chances to actually move on anyways. But if you win today, then you get to avoid all of that entirely and just go straight to the winner's matchup. So you still have an extra life, and you can carry that into arguably potentially a tougher group. It's hard to imagine, though, a group tougher than the one we're going to have today. So it's going to be really interesting to see who performs the most consistently, because it's always about who's the best and who wins. It's about who actually gets consistent top placings and picks up those podiums.
Yeah, oftentimes the players that we see advancing in the round of 32 was not the player that was winning every single track. It was the player that was getting a podium, you know, 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
It's the player that's consistently delivering on results that are going to net them the points because, you know, it is a race to 50 points. It's a cumulative thing. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. And, you know, with some of the upsets that we've seen today, you know, Planet almost taking down the FREECS. You got to think that some of the underdogs here, they might be able to come out with that consistent performance and upset some of our favorites here in the first group of the round of 16.
I think we definitely could see it. Players like Summer, for example, who are very young. Summer is 16 years old. He's extremely young, born in 2007. He is very talented, had a great run in his own group earlier on in the tournament. Great qualifier run from him as well. A player that I think a lot of people aren't keeping their eyes as focused on, but certainly one to look out for tonight.
Yeah, World, another one of those favorites, came through with the qualifiers in perfect fashion, I believe, and then absolutely did not underperform there in one of the groups of death, coming here into the round of 16. So it should be a lot of fun heading into this final match, man.
Yeah, I think so. We're also going to have some really cool special stats. Like now that we've seen these players play both in team speed for quite a bit of time, but also they've gone through their groups. There's a lot more data. So going to kind of hype them up, I think, a little bit better than just saying, hey, this is what they did in qualifiers. It's a new game, you know, so it's a little bit different. But now we actually have some specific data and stats we can show you guys. So we're looking forward to doing that a little bit later on. So tell your friends, solo is starting soon.
Yeah, get out there on social media, get on Discord, get on MySpace, you know, all those cool sites the kids are using these days. Let people know that KDL is live with English coverage for the first time, you know. Send them a link, get them tuning in, get your friends to tune in. These are the best racers in the world. Yeah, they deserve all of the coverage that they're getting.
Yeah. Shout outs to the Kartrider Drift official Discord where we've chatted with a few of you guys there. You guys have been really friendly and nice and discussing the matches and getting hyped for them. So just want to give a special shout out to those guys who are, coming in and watching every single night and getting hyped and taking a look at the players. And it's been a great community to be a part of. So really glad that we're growing here as our first global broadcast for Kartrider ever in the history of Kartrider.
It's nice, you know, to be at the beginning of something new like this. And as you said, now that we've actually had these players play through the round of 32 and play for a good number of matches there in the team league, we're able to get kind of an idea of where these players stand in terms of the statistics and stuff like that. So, guys, we're going to take a short break. When we get back, that highly coveted solo speed match, you don't want to miss it. See you soon.